Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and this time we're going to be doing something a little different. And today this will be my first ever diecast discussion video, and this time I think I will be having a really good start on this because here we have literally revealing the 20th anniversary 5 pack. I mean, like, what? This is crazy. Or like literally a 20th anniversary 5 pack and all these cards in it look absolutely awesome. And before we get to the 5 pack, which I think I'll be saving the best for last, I'm actually going to be going over like a few of the other diecasts that have been like revealed, like the super chases like Flash Nilsson, Morgan Martins, the really super chases. So I'm just going to say this as the best for last. So let's get in with the other diecast reveals. In video off by, I think I will be also be looking at the case E contents for 2026. And first card I'm going to be looking at is Ray Reverham, and I will say this is like a pretty good re-release in my opinion. We haven't seen Ray all the way back in 2020, which was back in the pandemic era, and I think it was hard to find like at one point, but I guess like he did eventually like make it. But Ray Reverham, it's not a bad release. I think it's one of those like crew cheese that should be like re-released more often, since like it's a crew cheese to like a main racer. And I would say that like, I don't know, if Ray Riverhand was like back in, I don't know, like in 2021 or 2022, it will be, and people will be like, whatever, it's a cool re-release. But here in 2026, I feel like we should like welcome him with open arms, since like, like he is also pretty rare online, and since I don't even have this diecast, it's pretty nice to have. Oh, and by the way, this is also being found at Arizona and an O'Reilly. The next reveal I have, which is like a re-release super chase, and this time it is Flash Nelson, or Flash Nielsen, I guess, but like Flash Nelson. It is pretty surprising to see him back, and like I'm surprised that like there are literally like two super chase re-releases, like which is Flash Nielsen and Morgan Martins, which we're going to be looking at. Flash Nielsen, like I would say, is like a pretty good re-release. I know that some people are kind of mad at Mattel just because like, like it's breaking like their own rule. Like they have a rule like where they produce like 4,000 of like the super chase, and it's meant to be not re-released ever again. But here I guess Mattel is kind of breaking that law, but I think in my opinion it like allows like a bit more like newer collectors who like I guess kind of missed out on him, or like who are new to collecting or like being able to collect them. So Flash Nelson is like a pretty good re-release, I would say. The next reveal we have, which like I don't think is really that exciting, and it is the Thomasville racer, Jimmy Lugrange. We just saw Jimmy Lugrange in a 2024 5 pack in Walmart back in 2024, and he was also released as a single back in 2021. But hey, I guess it's not every day that we see Thomasville racers or Jimmy Lugrange. The last card that we will be looking at on this list from the Case E contest is another super chase, which is Morgan Martins. And yeah, the similar thing that I said with Flash Nelson is that like it's another re-release super chase. And like I said, I guess it kind of gives like collectors or like more newer collectors an opportunity to like get a version of Morgan Martins that they didn't have. Granted, it's not the exact same like the one back in 2017 when Cars 3 was like releasing a bunch of diecasts, but I guess collectors at least have some form of regular Morgan Martins to collect. Taking a break from looking at the singles, now we're going to be looking at some more new 2026 2 packs. And man, I will say that these 2 packs are a lot more interesting than the first 2026 2 packs from earlier this year. But like I would say that these 2 packs are definitely much more better than the ones that they were like released, or like the first case of 2026 2 packs. And I'm going to be going over all of these from one by one. So the first one I'm going to be looking at is Roger Wheeler and Strip Weathers 2 pack. The first 2 pack that we'll be looking at is the Roger Wheeler and the King 2 pack. And I will say that like I don't really have that much to say about this 2 pack, other than the fact that like it's really cool that we are getting Roger Wheeler back. I don't have this crew cheese, so it's a good re-release in my opinion. And I would say that maybe the last time we saw him is that like maybe back in 2018, and I'm pretty sure he was released in Thailand too. But it's not every day that we get like that we get Roger Wheeler, and I'm also so glad that Mattel also didn't forget his name and didn't just call him Dinoco Crew Chief. The second and last 2026 two pack that we'll be looking at is a pretty interesting two pack, and this time it is the two pack with Red and Guido. And I know that some people might complain that like Guido isn't a two pack without the Luigi, but I don't really mind that though. And the highlight in this one is, believe it or not, Red. And like I would say that it is like pretty good to see like regular Red back in the main line. And as far as I'm looking at the pictures, unfortunately, I don't think it will be like the regular like Red, his normal deluxe form. It looks like that it is using the same mold as the race and rescue mode because it doesn't have like the chrome on its side, but no, or like the chrome around it, which is like kind of unfortunate. I wish that Mattel would just like reuse the original deluxe model of Red, but that's kind of like my only like nitpick of it. But like aside from that, it also makes it up with like some yellow detailing around, believe it or not, or like some gold detailing. If you don't know, Red has been or has that like yellow or like gold detailing around it, and they actually fixed it over here. So, which is like pretty interesting. So, like if you don't have like the nerves to like buy a Precision Series Red, I would say that I would definitely go for this one. I'm definitely gonna be reviewing this two pack when it comes out to stores. Okay, so now we will be looking at some 20th anniversary celebration cards now, and here we have our first 155 scale diecast that it's most likely to be released as a single, and we have Celebration Mater, and why is he the Tokyo Mater mold? First of all, I question that like so much, but I'm gonna like, hey, don't get me wrong, I really like the design. I like the lightning bolts, and like even though I'm not a really like a specific like colored wheel guy, but I guess like the colors on like the wheels they kind of work, and I like the 95 McQueen logo. It's just that like the Tokyo mold. I kind of questioned this like a long time ago. And by the way, I also heard that like that the celebration cars and the 20th anniversary cars who are in the 5 pack are meant to be like separate apparently, and which I thought was like kind of interesting. Like we really have like two lines like basically like celebrating like the same thing. Do you guys don't know what I mean? But anyways, this Mater still looks pretty cool nonetheless. Okay, here we are, guys. The moment you've all been waiting for. And here it is, the 20th anniversary 5 pack. Oh man, this looks absolutely amazing. Look at them. They look so good. All with their metallic finishes. They look so good. Here we have like all these characters, like McQueen, Mater, Ramon, Sally, and Sarge, all in their like basic paint jobs. Like I was saying that like Ramon Mater, McQueen, and Sally, they look pretty good and shiny, and like Sarge, I don't really know what to say. He doesn't really like look metallic in one of these pictures, but it could be just a picture, or maybe I'm just like it's just a stock photo, but yeah, it's just like pretty cool. I mean, like even like the gold lightning bolt is just like so amazing. So I'm gonna go over from character to character and tell them my opinions on them. So let's get on with it. Okay, so the first character I will be looking at is Ramon, and I have to say, Ramon is probably like one of my favorite characters to get variants of in my book, and like this Ramon, it definitely proves me right. This Ramon has to be one of my favorite celebration cars out of this 5 pack, and man, he looks great. And if you don't know, like you see like those gold trims around his mustache and like the around like the windows. Well, he has like the silver like. Well, if you look on the variants for Ramon, he has like the silver lining around the mustache and like the windows. But here they're gold, and man, Mattel was absolutely genius on that. I really like the gold lightning bolt. At first, I was kind of skeptical, like of what the lightning bolt would look like, thinking it would be gimmicky, but it actually looks pretty good. I really like the lightning bolt, the use of it, and the yellow trimming or like the gold trimming. It just looks absolutely awesome. And taking a look at Mater also, he's using like the same classic brown Mater colors he always been, but he has like the brand new Mater and like tooling. I guess it's like more easier for like Mattel to do since like it's not like since it has like a full hood and like like regular Mater does not have a hood. I guess it's more easy. But yeah, I really like Mater too. He has that really nice like bronze now color to him, and also the fact, look at the tires. If you look at the tires like closely, you can see better some other pictures, but like the tires literally say Cars 20th anniversary. Man, boom, that has to be peak Mattel merchandising. You can't tell me otherwise. This is absolutely like awesome. Like on the rims, like I thought it said like a Lightyear text, but no, it says Cars 20th anniversary. I think, man, oh man, Mattel, yeah, they're doing so good right now. The next few cars we'll be looking at are McQueen and Sally. And Lightning McQueen, I definitely really like him, especially with that gold lightning bolt. And to be honest, like it kind of reminds me of like the Rusty's racing center Lightning McQueen, doesn't it? Only with like the Cars One mode. And I really like how Mattel decided to use the Cars One mold for this new 5 pack. It definitely feels like very anniversary. The only nitpick I have for this one is just because like maybe like the eyes look kind of weird, kind of similar to like that 2026 McQueen, and like maybe like the better usage of like the paint, I guess. But like otherwise, like I have barely have any complaints with this McQueen. And taking a look at Sally, she is also pretty awesome. And I forgot to mention about like the hood. They also have the 20th logo, which is seen on the Lego Speed Champion Lightning McQueen, which I guess that was like a little teaser to show us what the 20th anniversary logo. And here Sally, she looks absolutely great. And the only thing that also like admires to me is that like she actually has the realistic headlights and Porsche logo. If you guys don't know what I mean, it's because like you see what the race and rescue Sally kind of suffered from is that like it had like the good or like the realistic eyes it was just missing like the detail from the realistic headlights and the Porsche logo. But here Mattel actually decided not to be lazy and actually printed some realistic headlights and the Porsche logo. Actually, great job, Mattel. The final card that we'll be looking at today is Celebration Sarge. And man, oh man, I was kind of not expecting to see a Celebration Sarge in this 5 pack. I would have honestly preferred Doc Hudson over this, but like Sarge, he looks pretty good. Kind of looks weird with the lightning bolts, but it still looks pretty good on him. And from the looks of it, he doesn't really look too metallic. I don't know how Mattel's gonna make him look metallic. Maybe because of like the green. He's more of like a or like a military green. So maybe they're just gonna do like a metallic green. I can kind of see a little bit of metallic, but not as much metallic as like the other celebration cars. But yeah, he looks awesome. Also, I like the fact how like all of these cars have the 20th logo around like the tires. That is so awesome. Like great attention like to detail. Like this is actually what the fans want Mattel. So yeah, I'm glad that Mattel is finally locking in, and all these cars look absolutely awesome. Another thing that I would like to admire about this 5 pack packaging is that it actually includes like a period for the 20th anniversary from 2006 to 2026. That is absolutely awesome. That Mattel actually decided like or even like bothered to like make this like time period from when cars first started or like was first released in theaters. And by the way, like this 20th logo is also like the same logo that we first saw on the Speed Champion Lego Lightning McQueen that we first saw at this logo. And I'm so glad that Mattel did this. They didn't do this for the 10th anniversary of Disney Cars. And heck, they didn't even do it for the Racing Reds back in 2021. But so glad that Mattel did this awesome. Well, that will officially wrap off my diecast discussion. And man, I gotta honestly say, these reveals that I just did were absolutely awesome. I really love the 5 pack. Can't wait to get it when it first shows up at Walmart. And on the leaks, they're pretty good. They're actually not that bad. There may not be that much like new releases or like from like the movies or the shows, but at least like we got somewhat of a decent setup. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.